Today is going to be day 3 of Echo. Um, let's see here. I guess just following up with everything. So far so good. You can already tell there's a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Promiscuity. I don't know, but I'm curious to see I guess how things go. I imagine that I'll probably be choosing a distinct route this time, unless the whole like TJ question was one. But yeah, guess we'll go back into it. We both stand there for a minute, 3 feet apart. I hear Leo scuff the ground with his foot, then sniff as dust rises up from the ground. I remember, so the last thing that happened was Leo and I were talking about relations. I don't know, like, I just know Jenna pushes into it, but, you know, we're gonna see if he says something. I hear him draw on a breath a few times, as if he's gonna say something, but ends up blowing it out with a sigh. We were never good at this, probably why it ended up feeling like it did. Leo. I'm sorry, Chase. For what? Not talking to you about this when I should have. Talking to Jenna about it when I should have been talking to you. He reaches out and sets a paw on my shoulder, the silver anchor on his wrist glinting just a bit in the fading light. He's smiling at me, but I grit my teeth. Why are you still wearing that? His eyes flick from the bracelet, then back to my face, expression turning defensive. Why aren't you still wearing yours? Don't you remember what we said? I sigh, looking at the scattering of clouds behind Leo's head. They're tinged to soft pink from the fading sun. The sunset is almost the same color as Leo's fur. Leo, we were teenagers. It's not an answer. He cuts me off and I look back at him. I told you they weren't love bracelets. They weren't just about our relationship. They were about everything. Our friends, family, memories. Echo. I raise my voice above his, cutting him off this time. They're about Echo, Leo. We stand there a while, and Leo's looking closely at me. Expectantly, his ears tipped forward. His eyes pierced me like amber shards. It was always hard to look him in the eye during our arguments. Hey! I swear, this art style is, like, so good. What, do I have to say it? Alright, fine. I fucking hate this place, everything about it. It's the most miserable goddamn place I've ever been. How many places have you even been? Enough to know that that it's miserable. Most everyone here's old, obese, on welfare. Half of them are probably on meth. Leo pulls in a deep breath and blows it over my head. I can smell the bell peppers on his breath. No one likes it here, Chase. I mean, it was an anchor. I'm half laughing. Just looking at it made me feel like I was still tied to this town. I didn't need it reminding me of all that awful stuff. I know it was supposed to symbolize our being each other's rocks or whatever, but it stands for a lot more than that. But a lot of good things happened here too. No one should forget where they came from. Sometimes I wish I could. At this point, Leo's deflated a bit, going into a slouch, his ears lowered. Wait, you said was. You didn't get rid... No, I still have it. It's just in a drawer in my dorm room. Honestly, if it was anything else, like one of those infinity bracelets we saw, I wouldn't have trouble wearing it. Well, fuck, why didn't you say anything when we were buying them? I didn't know it was going to be a problem. Leo takes in a deep breath again before blowing it out, puffing his cheeks this time. Puchicada. He puts a paw to his eyes and holds it there for a few seconds. It's a pose I'm pretty familiar with. Even though I haven't seen it in a few years, I'm hit with a wave of memories, mostly of me frustrating or embarrassing Leo somehow. We decided on the anchors mostly because they looked pretty. Leo had referenced some wolf metaphor about roots and how we would always draw back to them. Also, some bullshit about how otters were great sailors, but really it was just the aesthetic. For some reason over the years, I'd begun to associate the anchor with being stuck in Echo. It was when I started connecting the anchor to Sydney that I'd taken it off. It was too much. There's Sydney again. I have a feeling we're gonna learn a lot about Sydney soon, maybe, who knows? Maybe something bad happened, probably. Oh well. It was too much. Anyway, Leo brings me back to the present, and I focus back on him. What I was trying to say was that I'm still not okay with how you left. Leo, I said I was sorry and still am. Or how you stopped talking to me for a while? Okay, I was a kid. I thought I had a good tactic, like Jenna said, rip off the band-aid, you know? We did start talking again. It's more like you punched me in the gut than kicking me in the balls. The problem was that you didn't even give me a chance to say anything, or at least tell me why before you broke it off. Stay silent for a while, then finally look up, setting my jaw. Like I said, I was young and dumb. I didn't know how to handle it. I can keep apologizing, or we can move on and make the most of this. We only have 1 week, and I want to have fun. Leo looks to the side, paws on hips, of contemplating, then looks back at me with a smile. Alright, fine, but don't think you're off the hook. I still want to talk soon. Soon, just not right now. I stand there awkwardly for a few moments, then, because it feels appropriate, I step in to give him a hug. Hey. He takes it willingly, and he's warm and strong. For a moment, I wonder why the hell I dumped this guy. Ooh, so we dumped him. Just then, someone lays on the horn as they drive past us, pulling me out of my reverie. Yeah. I lean back so I can watch the car speed down the empty road. Leo keeps holding me though. Is it Flynn? There's no way it's Flynn. Oh, no, it's not Flynn. Okay. Echo hasn't changed much, has it? Nope, it hasn't. Really? Okay, well... As we're saying our goodbyes, I remind Leo about the shots I need to the lake. He says he'll talk to the other two about it after they leave. We all say our goodbyes before Leo, Carl, and Flynn take off. TJ takes his usual hour getting ready for bed, while Jenna does the same schoolwork. By the time I'm finished brushing my teeth, I'm grateful to see that both of them in bed. I get under the covers next to TJ and lay there for about an hour staring at the ceiling. Slowly, I slide out from under the covers, careful not to wake TJ. Quietly, I slip my jeans and grab my jacket before heading out the door. Toby builds a small sandcastle next to the lake in the process of digging mud around it. Jenna drops a few twigs next to it before running off to find more decorations. Flynn is talking to Sydney, pointing at Toby's sandcastle. Toby's a new character, I think. Sydney looks hesitant but excited. He seems to make up his mind, suddenly running forward and kicking the top of the tallest castle. It breaks easily, with most of it flying to Toby's face. No! Toby flinches back, shocked before immediately crying as he rubs at his eyes. Jenna comes running from across the beach, yelling before shoving at Sydney, who's laughing. She turns to Toby, trying to help him clean his face, but the lynx pushes her away before... Oh, wait, is Toby TJ? Monday. Is today going to be a chill beach day? Or I guess river day. Yeehaw River feeds Emma Lake from the north. It's a farther drive than the lake itself, but it does have a few nice clearings along its edge. One of them has a few benches and a rusted to hell public grill that I'm sure no one has used in decades. This is the place that we go. As we're unloading Leo's van, I decide to get the B-roll of the lake right away. It won't have much of a presence in the package, so I think I'm just going to have to narrate it over later. The actual lake is only a few minutes walk from here. It's a bit difficult navigating around the sagebrush, and I know I'm going to have to check for its ticks later. By the time I reach the lake, my friends are pretty far behind me, hidden behind a few bends and hills. I'm getting uncomfortable with the idea of me holding this camera while I navigate this terrain. Probably would have been better if Leo had just parked the car next to the reservoir while I got out to film, but I guess even that still wasn't okay. There's a large square of paved ground next to the parking lot now, several benches and a row of brand new girls. Several lamps have been erected around the area too. Leo was right about the town trying to turn the reservoir into a recreational spot. I can actually see a few jet boats skimming through the water, leaving long trails of white behind them. There's even what looks like a feline of some sort fishing in the shallows. It would explain why the motel is still in business. Lake Emma is fairly small, only about 12 miles long and 5 feet wide. Did I say 5 feet wide? I sure did. You know what I meant. I look around before climbing the top of my nearby hill and get shots. Even with a few people there, it's still pretty quiet, aside from the train horns, and it's kind of eerie. I wrap up and start to quickly make my way back. It's hard to explain why I'm getting freaked out in broad daylight with people around. Either it's because of what happened all those years ago, or I'm just psyching myself out. I'm glad to hear my friends' voices again as I get closer. Then again, it sounds like they're fighting. Been acting like a dick all day. Be glad I came here at all. Apparently it would have been better if you hadn't. Maybe I should just fucking leave then? Sounds a lot more serious than our usual squabbles, so I quicken my pace. They seem to quiet down a bit once they see me coming. Teacher's off to the side looking out over the river, occasionally throwing a rock into it. Carl sits in a lawn chair, one of 6 that have been set out in a semicircle. He has his chin on a fist as he lazily stares at me. Jenna and Leo both stand next to each other, looking at Flynn, who's got his back turned, rummaging through the cooler. Hey, what's wrong? Leo sighs. Nothing. You get your film? Yeah, I got it. The silence is still awkward and I have no idea what the hell to do with myself. I finally realize that I'm still holding the camera and decide to put it away. Hey, I'm gonna go for a quick swim. Haven't been in water in a while. Alright, so this is the beach episode. When we first got here, I was completely disappointed to find that the motel didn't have its own swimming pool. Being an otter, I like to swim at least once a day, if not more. At this point, it had been 3. Oh boy. Flint finally turns around, a beer in his hand as he cracks it open. It was true that he had been acting a bit strange today. He'd held the entire trip up by a few hours, and when he'd finally shown up, his eyes were bleary and he seemed sluggish, like he'd been up all night. When we'd ask if he was alright, he brushed us off. Yeah, thanks for the help setting up, Chase. You're about as useful as this fat ass over here. He swings the paw, holding the beer at Carl. Flynn. So enjoy that swim while I set everything out. Yeah, I will. Make my soda a diet while you're at it. I've had it with Flynn. He's souring the trip with his need to be an asshole. Go fuck yourself. I ignore him as I strip off my shirt and head to the riverbank. I pat Teacher on the shoulder as I pass him before slipping into the water. We're currently in the middle of a drought that has lasted the past 3 years. The water is low, only about 10 feet at its deepest. It's enough though, and God, it feels good. It's spring, so the water is pretty cold. I swim back and forth a few times before finally diving in. Ooh, that looks really pretty. Eventually, I settle on drifting to the bottom, laying and gripping to the rocky floor as I stare up at the shimmery light above me. Okay, usually like the bottom of like rivers and lakes and all that are pretty gross to feel, but maybe that's just me and my experiences. I feel the gentle current run over my body. It's nice to be away from all that tension above me. I feel isolated, alone, and for now that feels good. Only I could really come down this steep, the others not being able to hold their breath as long or being too little. I remember when we were younger, I would give the others rides around the lake, able to swim for nearly half a mile and back. Even Flynn, the asshole, had done it a few times. It was one skill I had that I was proud of, even if it was inherent to my species. It still made me somehow useful, or at least different from everyone else in a good way. I'd always felt like the odd one out in the group, as strange as it sounds. Where everyone else had a strong, distinct personality, I was just average. Sometimes I wonder if they were just friends with me because we all had to be when we were younger. This whole trip has kind of forced me to think back on all the memories I have of this place and my friends. They were always doing the cool things, being different, while I was just sort of blending into the background. Even then, I wanted to do something to stand out somehow. That's what I'm trying to do here, I guess. It's been about 7 minutes, and I only know that because it's about as long as I can hold my breath. I decide I should go back up and help out, so I slowly let myself float back up towards the surface, trying to stay in the same spot. I remember when I was a lot younger, we used to have a pool in our backyard, and I remember trying to time myself being under the water. I think like my record was 2 minutes, and it kind of get the vibe that Chase has. It does feel kind of nice just chilling down there. When I surface, it's pretty quiet. For a second, I wonder if everyone is just gone. Of course, that's ridiculous, and as I come over the embankment, everyone's there. Predictably, Flynn didn't get my food out, so I go to the cooler to grab a sandwich and soda before sitting in an empty chair next to Leo. Apparently it was a good idea to bring lawn chairs, considering the tables looked like they were covered in a year's worth of bird shit. How was the swim? Its tone is bitter. Oh wait, let me try that. How was the swim? His tone was bitter and salty. It's not his usual grumpy but good-natured mood. He's genuinely unhappy. What the hell was his deal? Amazing. I'm gonna have to come back here again sometime during the week. The lizard people don't understand. You hardly even need water. It always scares the hell out of me when you're down there that long. I was actually thinking that too, like, would nobody get worried if it's been like 5+ minutes under the water? I'm built for it. Just built different, I guess. Remember when you'd give us rides? That was fun. Remember when you'd always scream like a girl when Chase would go down too far out? Oh wow, I remember that now. Hey, I never really liked water. Anyway, Chase would do it on purpose. He knew I didn't like it out to a certain point. Carl looks at me. You know what was really cool was when you'd take us down for a dive. Oh yeah, Chase was like our own little submarine. I'm starting to get that otters are swimming clowns vibe again. Still, I kind of enjoy the attention. We'd get you to take us down to the bottom so we could look for treasure. Leo makes air quotes around the last word. And you know, we probably would have found way more stuff if you guys hadn't been dragging me down. I remember when, are we really fucking talking about this? Everyone turns to look at Flynn. His voice is low and dangerous. There's a chill in the air because we all know what he means. I was actually feeling pretty good about it at this point. Like we crossed a bridge, being able to talk about it for once. Apparently we hadn't. Flynn. No, I'm serious. Do you think it's okay to fucking talk about this when the lake is just a quarter mile that way? You know what, Flynn? I think we should. Isn't that part of the reason why we're here? No. If that were the case, we'd be over there, but we're here. And why is that? Everyone's quiet for a moment. I see TJ shrink into his chair, staring hard at his lap. Flynn, we came here because Chase needed footage. A change comes over Flynn. His face darkens and everyone senses it. Flynn turns to me and takes it some effort not to flinch back. Yeah, and why is that, Chase? You gonna put that in your fucking documentary? No, Emerald Lake is an important part of Echo's history. Just what? Flynn raises his brow ridge at me and I just lower my eyes. This was a stupid fucking idea. You know what, Flynn? If you'd be a little more open, tell us what's on your mind. We'd be able to avoid a lot of this kind of stuff. Oh, you want to know what's on my mind? Flynn swivels and marches up to Carl. Alright, let's start with you. You're fat, lazy, no motivation, no future. What the hell are you planning on doing with your life? Sit here, waste away in Echo, mooching off your parents until you're dead. Carl stares back up at Flynn impassively, till he hunches in on himself a bit further. Flynn, don't do this right now. And you, thinking you're better than everyone else. I can tell you think everyone in Echo is trash. Just because me and the others haven't left, you think we're lower than you. Just because we don't have an education, we're a bunch of retards. Yeah, well, you left your whole fucking family behind without even saying goodbye. You know what's even going on with them right now? What are they dealing with? Yeah, real fucking hero you are. You think Stop it, Flynn. Our unquestionable leader. We wouldn't have been friends without you, would we? That's why you brought us here, right? So we could all bond? Or wait, was it just because you wanted to get into Chase's pants? Leo's ears fall flat. Probably. You've been a mess ever since you left, so let me be the one to tell you. It's over. It's fucking unhealthy, you're obsessed with him. Slowly, his head turns to me and I brace myself. And I can't imagine why. Okay. Flynn, can you calm the fuck down? You, Chase, have the personality of a fucking rock. I wish you could see yourself. You just sit there like a creep, watching everyone, weighing everything that we say. I don't think I haven't caught the way you stare at all of us like we're all objects to be collected. Okay, that's really... Flynn. What are you planning? What, are you just planning a cycle through all of us for sex? Okay. I have a feeling that... You know what? Sure seems like it. Flynn stops and echoes. It seems like it's over. I really hope it is. That proves futile though. Flynn's no, not TJ. Oh, why did she have to do the art of this? No, stop. I silently pray that the Lynx would make a run for it while Flynn had all of his attention focused on us. But TJ looks apathetic. Like a statue, like there's no soul in him. Flynn pauses though, as if he's at a loss for what to say. Finally. What happened, TJ? Flynn. Leo stands up and from his posture I can tell the wolf is ready to fight. Memories are starting to flow back, TJ. Flynn thinking he'd done something to... I stand up too. Flynn may sound like a hard ass, but physically Leo had him beat easily. Flynn can obviously tell that he might have a fight on his hands though, and it's clear he doesn't want that. He drops his shoulders, seeming to shrink as if invisible strings that have been holding him up were cut. He turns to us, then gestures at TJ. I just want the truth. Can we just put a stop to this today right now? I don't think you know how much of a nightmare this has been for me. Not really knowing. TJ. TJ stares up at Flynn, muzzle set grimly. What happened to Sydney? Instead quiet. TJ stares at his lap, not moving. Come on, let's... Flynn holds up a hand towards me, still staring at TJ. Slowly, TJ looks up, his face still stoic, still made of stone. I already told you what happened. Bullshit. Flynn steps forward, but Leo's there to grab the back of Flynn's shirt and swing him around. I dodge out of the way as Flynn is flung back to land on his ass, kicking up a big cloud of dust. Shit. Flynn, I swear to God, if you start a fight here, I'll drop your stupid ass. Everyone except TJ is standing now, staring at Flynn. Flynn sits there, glaring up at Leo, obviously weighing his chances. He seems to come up short though as he spits to the side and stands up, brushing off his pants as he turns away. You're all here with not knowing? Fuck all of you. He turns back around, hands in his pockets, a bitter look on his face. This whole thing was stupid, Leo. We're not even friends anymore. Flynn scuffs the ground before turning and walking towards the trail that goes back to Echo. God damn it, Flynn. Fuck off. Flynn keeps walking and it's pretty clear that he isn't coming back. I raise a paw and rub it over my eyes. What was he doing? He's a passionate guy that will sometimes just explode with all his insecurities before running away and hiding for a few days. He screwed us all like that before. It was classic Flynn. He was especially mean. Dark. The part with TJ, I vaguely remember Flynn having some sort of suspicion, but that had been a long time ago. Had he even been sitting on that this whole time? I look to the left and see that TJ's gone. Carl's still sitting down, but now it looks like he's pulling out a joint. Leo's walking off down another trail, cursing while Jenna follows him. I stand there next to my chair, undecided. Oh shit. Okay. I don't know. So I think if this is like choosing more specific things, as much as I want to sit with Carl and get to know him better, I'm probably going to save him for another time. I'm not going after Flynn. Like the thing said earlier, kind of just goes away for a few days, but it looks like he always kind of comes back around. So I'll save Flynn for later. And this is where I'm stuck. It's between Jenna and Leo or TJ. So I kind of want to start with like a Leo route. I don't know if this is actually like choosing the Leo route or not. But at the same time, I also want to like help TJ out because obviously that like sucks for TJ. God, this is hard. I don't see, the thing is like I don't know what stuff is going on between Leo and myself in terms of like relationship stuff, and that's what scares me. I know this is stupid, but I'm gonna flip a coin on it. Alright, we're going Leo. I watched Jenna's tail disappear through the sagebrush. They're headed down the same trail that I'd used to get to Lake Emma. Leo. TJ. TJ did seem to head off in that direction while we were fighting, though. I can't imagine he'd go to the lake. I should go with him to help find the lynx. I'm also a little worried about Leo. It's been a long time since I've seen him that pissed. Well, at least we're all trying to find TJ together. When I get there, I find Leo leaning back with his rear up against a big boulder on the shore. Bittersweet memories flood in. That rock is almost as much of a staple of my childhood as the actual lake is. It's weird like that. Every memory I have of this place is dreamy and gold-tinged, but always has a hint of sadness about it, no matter what the situation was. Jenna is standing in front of Leo, her arms folded as she talks to him. I can't see his face, but his posture is sagging and his ears are down, looking way older than he actually is. I stand back for a while, feeling awkward about intervening at this point. Leo occasionally shakes his head, then takes out his phone to look at it. I can see Jenna's getting annoyed, but then she says something and Leo turns his head to look back at me. I seize up for a second, but Jenna is beckoning me with her paw while Leo isn't looking. I start stumbling over the rocks towards them as Leo looks back down at his phone and Jenna starts walking towards me. Just talk to him, he'll listen to you. Yeah, this is not a question, sorry Jenna. She passes by me, going back towards the trail. Sure, he'll probably listen to me, but I have no idea what I should say. The rocks are actually hard to navigate, especially when you don't have any protection for your feet. Oh, shit. I'm almost to the boulder when my foot catches on an edge of a rock, and I yelp and fall forward, knees first into the sharp rocks. No! Well. Pain shoots up my legs, and my eyes clench shut as I cringe silently. Shit, you alright? I look up and see Leo looking down at me, his ears up now at the sound of my fall. Yeah, fine. Leo frowns and reaches over with a paw which I grab onto and pull myself up with. I make my way around him, being a little more careful about where I put my feet as I position myself next to him against the boulder. Put both my paws behind myself and heave myself up on top of the boulder, letting my legs dangle over the side. I'm so damn clumsy. You're an otter. Wow, asshole. I say it jokingly, but Leo's not really smiling. Instead, he sticks a paw back into his pocket and pulls out a slightly flat-looking cigarette. I give a start and stare. I shouldn't be surprised. I could smell it on him when I first got here. It's just that I'm not used to seeing him do it. He started right after I left. Pulls out a lighter, lights it, takes a drag, then blows the smoke out the side of his muzzle, away from me. You're meant to swim, not walk on rocks. I mean, technically Carl is built for that, and he's still falling down all the time. I think that's because Flynn's always tripping him with his tail. Speaking of Carl, grunting, I lean over sideways and look at the side of the boulder. I find what I'm looking for instantly. A series of chips and scratches outlining the rough figure of a canine with a long cape and an S on his chest. It's still there. Carl's drawing? Shit, forgot about that. Never finished it, did he? Nah, but it's pretty good. Remember how Superwolf was the only thing he talked about that summer? Yeah, and the movie wasn't even that good. He loved it, though. Yeah, and I guess it's all that really mattered. Bill grimaces and reaches over to my knee. I once look down as he puts his thumb and index around the cut that I hadn't noticed until now. Blood is oozing through the fur and leaking down my shin. We'll need to clean that out. I shrug. It's not a big deal. Nah, we'll stop at the convenience store and get some peroxide. There's some nasty shit around this lake. It's fine, seriously. Just to be safe. I smirk. Safe? Like this? I reach up and grab the cigarette dangling from his lips. He's quick though and whips his head away before taking it out of his muzzle. Hey, don't hate me. Why the fuck are you smoking? His ears fall flat again and he glares. Why the fuck do you care? He spits that out with so much venom that I lean away from him, eyes wide. He's never talked to me like that before, and I was joking too. What? Leo quickly looks away and doesn't say anything. I stare at his face for a while, watch his eyes flicker around as he just shakes his head. Are you still mad at me? We talked. Of course I'm still mad, Chase. Talking doesn't just fix 3 years. All the progress I thought we made on Saturday was an illusion. Leo's just as upset as he'd always been about what happened. I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say, Leo? That I was wrong to leave? That I should have stayed here? Not leaving me in the dark would have been a good start. Yeah, I fucked that up, but it happened and I can't fix that. What do you want to happen now? Leo stretches his arms out to either side in one giant shrug. I don't know. This is already familiar. 1,000 past fights flash through my mind. Did we ever agree on anything? I slide off the boulder and Leo snaps his muzzle toward me, probably thinking I'm gonna leave. Instead, I lean one paw against the rock as I turn to glare at him. It feels better yelling at someone, standing up rather than sitting down. Oh, I know exactly what you want. Oh, do you? You just want me to drop everything and come back here, back to Echo. When did I ever ask you to drop anything? I just want to know if you're coming back. How am I supposed to know that? Why can't you plan ahead farther than next week? I swear it's always like this with you. I let out an exasperated laugh. I'm 21. I don't fucking know anything about anything. How should I know what I want? Well, I'm here. Don't you want to come back and live with me? We always plan for it. His voice softens and I pause, thinking about it right now. It is something I would want. It's just... Is Echo so bad that its negatives outweigh my benefits? I mean... I gesture at the town in the distance, looking as shitty and rusted as ever. Then to the lake, looking as shitty and mucky as ever. Then to the desert around us, looking as shitty and dry as ever. I let the scenery speak for itself. So yeah. Leo rolls his eyes. Pushy shotter. Starting to think you just wanted an excuse not to be around me. Did I say Puchicha? I did. Puchika. I'm starting to think that what Flynn said was true. He looked straight at me, eyes narrowing over his muzzle, his nostrils flaring. What? I'm not obsessed with you, I miss everyone, that's all. Is that wrong? I go quiet for a while and turn to look back over the lake, squinting at the bright reflected flashes of light. It can be... But then, I don't even know what. I don't even know if he's telling the truth. He'd never say whether or not this whole thing he'd planned was just for me. He doesn't say anything and we just sit there for a while. Even for a wolf, his whole sticking together thing is a little intense. He brought us together at the very beginning. Sure, but after Sydney it was a whole different level. He barely ever let us leave his sight. That's when I noticed a dark figure across the lake walking on the side of the road. It's Flynn, and he's heading back to Echo. I can see that Leo spotted him too, his ears and eyes following him, but he doesn't say anything. Finally, I speak up. So is what he said about me true? No. He says it quietly, but the answer is instant. Really? Leo takes another drag on the cigarette. Weirdly enough, I actually kind of like the smell of the smoke. I think his problem is with you, is that you don't act like you used to as a kid, or teenager. He's told me before. I mean, you used to be a snarky motherfucker, even more than you are now. My stomach sinks. Yeah? Yeah, you grew up, mellowed out. Again, my insides twist and I don't trust myself to speak right then. Leo gets the wrong idea and smiles, putting his arm around me, and pulling me up to his side. What he said about everyone was total bullshit, especially Jenna. This whole family mantra did have its limits. The fact that Leo is so defensive of Jenna's decision to leave her family shows what a piece of shit they really are. I'm just glad that he's changed the subject, though. Leaning my head on his shoulder, I let his hold comfort me. You still watching, Flynn? Oh, chica. I can't believe he did this now. Idiot. Idiot! Leo shouts it loud across the lake, and if I could, I'd lower my ears like a canine. I see the small figure that is Flynn turn around and look back at us. He stays like that for a while. It looks like he's examining us. Finally, he turns back around and keeps going towards Echo. Fucking idiot. How the hell am I going to go ahead with what I planned this week? In the past, Flynn would have his blow-ups, then get over it, and so would we. But this time really did feel different. It was like he'd been chipping away at our group for years, and finally this is what broke it into pieces. Now there's no putting things back together. Maybe it would have been better if we didn't come here. It's sort of my fault. Nope, it's Flynn's fault. Stupid to blame yourself. I don't know, we always have problems. Probably would have been better to just leave things as they were. No, Jesus, why does everyone act like this the whole thing? Echo, our friendship, is just some kind of horrible tragedy. It hasn't exactly been a walk in the park. Life isn't a walk in the park. This is where we come from. Find some good in it instead of bitching about everything. It could be so much worse. My parents told me stories about their hometown. And compared to where I was born, this isn't shit. He huffs out smoke through his nose, not bothering to blow it away from me this time. And I'm engulfed in the smell of tobacco. I mean, not to be an asshole, but you gringos have it easy. My mom got a phone call almost every month telling her that they'd kill my dad just because they had money. He was always been good at making me feel like a spoiled brat. I'm sorry. His arm tightens around me and I turn my head to rub my nose into his chest. Well, here we go, I guess. I don't know. I can smell his musk under the heavy deodorant. It's a familiar smell I like. Don't be. I mean, we all play our cards right, but try to have a little more perspective. He owns his chin on the top of my head. I feel like we should have some boundaries since we're not exactly a couple anymore, but this feels right. I love this town and I love you guys. I just want things to work out, not to lose touch. We had something really special. You're such a wolf. Thanks. I lay upon his thigh and rub it slowly, thinking, there, we're gonna save here. 36 minutes in. Alright, well, I wonder if I'll have to edit some parts out at this point. I mean, is there really no way you could leave with me? It would make things so much easier. Please, don't ask that. I can't leave them. I can never do that. You know this. Of course I did. We've argued about it over 100 times already. I squeeze his thigh. So, are you still mad at me? I listen to Leo breathe in deeply, my head rising with his chest. No, Otter. I'm not mad. We just have a lot of things to figure out, but we will. I guess that's as good as a place as any to leave off, so I move on to another subject. So now that Flynn's fucked up the trip, what do we do next? He hasn't. We'll fix this. Just gotta get that dumbass to apologize. But once I do, we have a birthday to plan. I raise my brows in surprise. Wasn't anyone's birthday anytime soon. Huh? Whose birthday? Carl's. Carl? His birthday wasn't until the end of April. Literally a month away. It's early. Really early, I know, but I'm still kind of limited here on ideas of what we can do. I guess that makes sense. So, when's that gonna be? Wednesday. I need to buy the stuff tomorrow and I have the day off. Neil looks at his phone again. Speaking of which, I need to drive you guys back so I can get you back to work. Well, alright. I'm not doing much else tomorrow. I should be working on the project, but I've got plenty of time. Leo slides off the boulder and turns back to me. I'll ask Jenna and TJ too. I'll let Flynn cool off for a day. Do you know where TJ went? Yeah, he just texted me that he wanted to be left alone, which I understand. I get off the boulder as well, and Leo reaches a paw out to me. And this time, watch where you're walking. Hold on to me. That's probably a good idea. Okay, well. Oh, it's already Tuesday. I was not expecting that day to turn into that, but at the very least, it sounds like we're making progress with Leo, which is exactly what I wanted, so I'd say right here is a good stopping point. Yeah. We're coming just up on 40 minutes. I'm trying to think of, like, I guess good stuff to talk about. I just kind of appreciate, I guess, the whole... There's actually the big three things. So the first and foremost is probably going to be just how they're building the characters up. I feel like a lot of them are very deep and personal in their own ways. And they all have something, like, super interesting about them. And I think, I mean, I've only really I haven't really played any VNs before. But I'd say that... I think the most common thing is going to be every character is so cool that when you have to make a choice, it sucks because it's like you're trying to choose, like, or at least in my head, it's like I'm trying to choose who do I like the most, who's the best, or maybe like who's the most interesting, and I want to get to figure out, you know, what's their backstory, but it's like every character has like a backstory I want to get to figure out. Otherwise, trying to think. Oh yeah, second thing is definitely the art. I love like the little cutscenes where It's just that really pretty like oil pastel sort of look. Then what else is there? The third thing was character development. Oh, and then I guess the music. Yeah, that's probably the third thing. Is I like the. It's not quite ambient music per se. I mean, obviously it's like made for the background of whatever's going on, but I feel like they fit the moods pretty well. But yeah, I'm excited to see, I guess, where this goes. And I think I'm doing it right, where I'm trying to like get on Leo's good side and just take that route. But I don't know because I don't know anything about this VN. But yeah. So until tomorrow.